Hi everyone, welcome to this edition of the Brocast, where we give you bite-sized bits of best practices to help you be a better leader and a more effective communicator. I'm your host, Jarrett Bro. Earlier this week here on the Brocast YouTube channel, we asked this question: if someone writes something negative on your corporate Facebook page, should you delete it? Wow, you guys had a lot of comments and responses to this one. None were negative, and I didn't have to delete any of them. Martin was the first one who said the company needs to clearly have a policy that states what is allowed in the comment section of your Facebook page. Jenny says she works for a government agency and they have a policy that says she cannot delete it unless it's vulgar or hateful or offensive. Doug says your Facebook page needs to be like a store lobby or a business lobby where everybody is invited inside. Bo says if it's a legitimate comment, make sure you respond appropriately. My buddy Joe Brennan says that yes, definitely if it's vulgar and offensive, delete it. That's what his policy gives him the right to do. He says if it is a legitimate comment, make sure you respond. And he says follow that policy to the exact letter. Pete says that he agrees with Joe and reminds us all that if someone writes something that is factually incorrect, make sure you correct the facts. Patrice agrees with the idea of deleting things that are inappropriate, but says that if it's negative and if you leave it online, it shows that your organization is open and that it's also transparent. Michelle reminds us that if the comment is true and legitimate, chances are other people feel the very same way, giving you a chance to rectify the situation. Juliet says that by leaving the comments online, even if they're negative, sometimes your best fans will come to your defense. Let me just say this. Sometimes I want those fans to comment. Sometimes I'd rather if they would stay out of it, because sometimes those fans escalate a small discussion into a big crisis. And Steve reminds us of the power of taking the discussion offline. Yes, Steve. Certainly if you work for a utility company or a retail company to where you can tell that the person who commented negatively is inside your customer database, you can do a cross-reference and absolutely phone that person directly and address the situation. Now, some of you have very active Facebook pages where, especially retail clients, lots of people want to comment. Some of you work for utility companies and banks and hospitals where those negative comments are seen by almost no one. Let me point this out. Before you reply online, realize that as soon as you reply in that comment section, you're taking what is now a falling discussion back to the top of everyone's news feed. So before you get too deep into a discussion, realize that sometimes no reply makes the entire discussion go away. Whereas when you reply, you put it in the top of everyone's news feed, and now it becomes a renewed discussion. Think before you get involved and really treat all of your social media behavior as though you are dealing with a crisis. If you approach it from a crisis communication standpoint, you're going to be okay. So here's what we'd like you to do. Make sure you're following us here on the Brocast YouTube channel. Like these videos if there's something that you think your colleagues are going to want to see. The more you click like on this particular video, the more it gets shared with your colleagues. And remember, you can connect with us on LinkedIn and you can connect with us on Twitter. And remember that you can come right back here next week for a new discussion. For the Brocast, I'm Jarrett Bro.